Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome to Mom XBA. I am really excited for this. Yay! Okay, looks like we are officially live. What I'm also going to do as you guys hop on, I'm going to open it up on my phone because for whatever reason, when I do this from my computer, I can't see the chat. And I want to make sure that for those of you who join live, you have an opportunity to have your questions answered. Okay, perfect. I got it pulled up on my phone. Amazing. So I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to have all of your questions answered about the VA Leadership Academy. And also, I was thinking through like what do I want to share with you more so on the topic of self-trust, like choosing which identity you want to move from. And I want you guys to know too that questions that you have about taking the next step, whether it's in the VA Leadership Academy or not, just the next step in your life that you know you're meant to take, and maybe your husband or your partner doesn't get it. Maybe you have tried something before and it didn't work out. Maybe you wonder and worry, like, am I actually cut out for this? Can I actually do it? And, I was thinking through all of that last night and this morning, and like, like one, I relate more than maybe you can even imagine, and two, truly, I think we've all been there, and it's all and always has been this decision that we have to make of like, okay, whose voice am I listening to, and not just even outside voices with your partner, your spouse, your family, but also inside of you. And so that's what I really want to help you tap into today is, how do you discern and move from a place of deep knowing, deep self trust that every decision you make is in alignment not just with where you are today, but where you want to go. And so I'll just walk you through a little bit of my story. And my hope is that you see yourself in this, and also success leaves clues. And not saying I'm the most successful person on the planet, but for what I've been able to build in a couple of years, I did have to make some really tough and empowering and challenging decisions and lead myself through, other people not getting it, or shoot, like that didn't work out the way that I wanted it to work, but to continue to choose myself, to choose my highest truth and knowing, and keep moving in the direction of where I wanted to go. So I have a couple, key, like the questions that I've been seeing in the group as far as like I want to do it, I want to move forward, but it didn't work out before. My husband says no. I don't know if I have what it takes, all of that. So let's dive into that today, and let me check too. Okay, amazing. Good morning, Victoria. Good morning, Stacy. Okay, and also you guys, so this is like a hangout. This is a group hangout. And so one of the things too, if you guys have ever been on any of my live workshops or anywhere really, coaching calls, all of it, I'm like, be unhinged. I love when you just blow up the chat and it's like stream of consciousness, and we're just like celebrating and partying and hanging out and just having a good time. This truly is our time together to just be, to have fun, to have those real conversations. And the last thing that I want to do during our time together today is you feel pressure, or you feel like if you don't make this one choice, like you're not going to be successful or it's not going to work out, because that's really not the point of this whole conversation, and the point of anything in life, right? Like the point that I really want to empower and leave you with today is like your own intuition, your own self-trust, your own discernment on the steps that you take in your next move. The closer you can get to hearing that voice inside that tells you you are meant for this, and whatever this is, right? It doesn't have to be one thing or the other, but I really want to help you tap into that place of knowing and self-trust and intuition. Okay. Okay. So I am checking. So Stacy says, "Oh, yes, my husband isn't on board after investing in other ventures that didn't pan out." Girl, I'll get you more than you might even know. Yes. Okay. So let's dive into that. But actually, I want to share a little bit. I want to share a little bit of my story of navigating all of this too, because I get all of it. So I started out in the direct sales industry, right? Before I found the VA industry. And my husband hated it. He's not a social media guy. He grew up very traditional. He went to like Catholic private school and like no one talks about money. No one talks about your success. It's very taboo. And if you guys know, right? If you're in business, you have to share about yourself and you have to present yourself from a place of authority and of course in alignment with, your embodiment and yourself. But, one of the ways that you essentially create the pathway for other people to join you in whatever you're doing is presenting yourself as someone that they would want to join, right? And so that in and of itself was very against his belief system, and he's not even on social media, so he's just like the egg, right? And but I always knew when I became a stay-at-home mom, I was like, I want something of my own. I want to contribute financially. I want to be like fully immersed in motherhood, but I also like I want to have it all. I want to have it all, and I don't believe that's selfish. Like we are here to live our best, boldest lives. Um, and then, of course, you can imagine as I shifted from direct sales to my own business, where I didn't have someone else's brand to leverage. I had to build my own brand, my own reputation, my client results, and so that conversation heated up. And he's also very practical, very realistic, very like oh, I was gonna say tight with money. Like he's like let's look at every dollar and cents, and I am not that way at all. Um, and so like I remember one of our conversations, I had started immersing myself in business. And I will also say, one of the very first things I invested, like as soon as I realized I wanted to build a business, I was like, okay, there's skills I don't know. And I don't want to, sort through like hours of Google searches and whatnot. Like I want someone to tell me what to do, to help me do it, help me avoid the trial and error. So I did invest. My first coaching investment was a 2K program, and it was a one-time thing. I put it on my card and I was like, oh, and I remember you guys. I remember I thought about it for a couple of days and it was the most I'd ever invested. And we were driving out to go camping for a weekend with my mother-in-law. It was her birthday and it was just me and the kids. And I thought about it. It was a 3-hour drive out there. I thought about it the whole time. I'm like, I know this is my next step. Oh my gosh, it's so scary. And we got to the campsite. I have like got the kids out, like basically like kicked them out of the car. I'm like, here you go, grandma, take the kids. And I like shut myself in the car. I was like, I'm not getting out until I make this move. My heart's like pounding in my chest, right? Got butterflies in my stomach. I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's like all the things, right? Is this gonna work? Is this gonna be a good investment? Is this gonna be a bad investment? But I did it. And I'm sure you guys have all made investments of some sort, right? Like you experience not only like there's like so many things that go into saying yes. It's like, you did it. Like, obviously, it's an investment, but also it's this like commitment. Like, I'm really doing this. There is no going back now. Like, I am all in, and that in and of itself is an edge too. But I also find it's you meet yourself at your edges. You become the biggest, boldest version of you when you do that. And like I will say, this is my personal philosophy, and it's certainly not marriage advice, but I have never asked my husband for permission on investments. It's something that I've done, and I grow my own business. And I remember telling one of my mentors, like it was about a year into business, and I was telling her like my whole story of I had told my husband my goal early on in business. I was like, guess what? I'm going to build a 30K a month business. And he literally, not in a kind way, because he's just very practical. He's like, well, let's, be incremental about this. And so he laughed, like, not in a very kind way. And I just remember feeling like my excitement melt in a puddle at my feet. And tap in the chat if you have felt this too, where it's like someone doesn't get it. And it's like you feel like someone popped your balloon and it just deflates and you're like, oh. And I knew, so I was telling my mentor about that, and it had been about a year after, and I had done more than 30K months, and I didn't necessarily like keep him updated every step of the way. It was kind of a need to know. It was like I'm doing this. I trust myself enough to be able to make this happen, and like I'll keep you posted. And so I told him, later everything that I had built, like all the details of what I built in business, and he was just like, And it was really cool. He was, he wrapped his head around it and like, amazing. Like, this is life changing for our family. I remember I was telling my mentor about it, and she was like, I love this. She's like, don't touch baby with dirty hands. You have to protect your vision. And I'd love for you guys to tap in the chat too, because you're here, you're listening right now, and you've been considering your next step, whatever that is. This is not a conversation to push you into the VA Leadership Academy. I think you get to make that decision for yourself if it feels like an aligned next step for you. But the fact is, you guys are all here right now. I actually have the goosebumps because, I mean, it's like, think about the power. You are here right now because you have this bigger dream. You have gotten to this amazing place in life. You probably have a lot of things right now that you dreamed about a couple of years ago. Like, you've done it. But also, it's like in this game of life, we're always expanding, we're always evolving. We always desire more. The point of life is desire. Without desire, we wither, we shrivel away. It's like coral. I love teaching in analogies, and I won't go into all of that because I want to make sure that I go through the chat and we get through all of your questions. I could literally talk about this for hours though, if you can't tell. But the point of life is desire is good. Wanting more is good. This is what grows you. This is how you evolve. And literally, life is this fun game of growth and evolution, and you meeting your edges, you finding out what's possible, what you're capable of. And the more you play in that game and in that edge, the more you realize that truly anything is possible. Anything is possible. And so you guys are all here because you're like, there's something more for me. I know it, I feel it, I see it, I'm ready for it. And then I was reflecting this morning. I thought about, do I take you guys through a visualization? And I certainly could. If you would like me to, put it in the chat. I don't want to get too woo, but I will say that the most powerful work I've done in being able to build the business that I have is the identity work. And I approach it from a scientific perspective. I love neuroscience. Understanding our brain allows us to make decisions in alignment with our highest self. And so the identity work is a huge piece of that. And so I want you guys, those of you who are here live, we have a lot of amazing women on live, and I know even more of you will watch the replay. I want you to kind of sit in your chair and feel into your body and just take a breath in a moment and notice that there's two sides. It's like you can feel, what is it? Typically, I want to say, I bet Leslie in the chat, she could tell me. I think it's right side is your more feminine and flow, and then left is masculine, like system structure. And so typically it's like logic. I think the screen is reversed. So left side, this is my left, is like logic, practical, rational decision making. See if you can feel that. It's like, to me, it feels more like tight and clenched. And then this is more like, ooh, like flowy. So anyways, what I want you to feel is that you have two identities, two like push and pulls going on. One is like stay safe, do what I know, what's grounded, make the right decision, approach it from logic. And then you have this other side that's like, I see what's possible. And I know I can do it, and life is meant to be lived. We are meant to make art of the mess and the chaos. And it's like you're wanting to be pulled forward, but then the other side's wanting to like keep you safe, keep you back, right? And what I want, like the awareness of this is everything, because you have these two parts of you where one is like stay safe, like make the right decision, don't mess it up, and it feels more like pressure, like do or die. And then there's this other side of you which I want to activate, and I want you to like tap into, and this is the anything is possible, and I have these goals and these dreams, and I get to go decide and do. And life is too short and precious and beautiful to be held back by fear or what ifs, or like maybe someone doesn't get it. People aren't going to get it, they just won't, and that's okay. And it will happen at every level of business, right? And so tapping into that, and I'd love for you guys to put it in the chat, is when you tap into the side of you that knows anything is possible, that knows you are here on earth, that you're here in this room right now because you have big dreams, you want to go do the thing, you're like I'm here, I'm hungry. I always tell my mentors and friends, like closer, I'm like, I want to eat the world. Like, it's just so fun. Like, let's go play, let's go build, let's go create things. That side of you. And because here's the thing, when we make decisions from the safe and the logical place, we're going to keep getting more of the same. And you likely, like you desire more, you want to build and grow into more, you can't keep making decisions from the same place. To have something different, you have to choose different, you have to do different. And so I want to empower you to tap into that side of you that's hungry, ambitious, like you know anything's possible. And that's the side that you want to converse with and make decisions from a deep place of self-trust, self-leadership, empowerment. And the thing is, like, you've probably tried things that haven't worked before. Guess what? So have I. So have all of us. I mean, such a simple analogy, but think about like when babies are learning to walk. Just because they fall down doesn't mean they don't get back up and keep going. Or, you know, your high school crush, the relationship didn't work out, and you look back now with the hindsight, you're like, thank freaking goodness that did not work out. There was something even bigger and better out there for me. Okay, that is the shtick. But okay, let's dive into the chat. Okay, so Stacy, let's dive into Stacy's comment. That is the boat I'm in. My husband isn't on board after investing in other ventures that didn't pan out. Whoo, baby. Okay, there's so many layers to this, Stacy. Um, so what I would say here is really tapping into your place of trust and knowing and what you want to create for your life. When you have your North Star and your lighthouse, and say, I'm just gonna say hypotheticals here, say that you have decided, you're like, I am going to build a 5K a month virtual assistant business, period. It is happening, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes. So how I would approach this if I was in your shoes, and we'll talk about all the things, but so I would think about if that is your North Star, that is your goal, and you're like, this is what I'm doing, period. Then from that place of you who has built the business, booked it out, you're earning that, ask her some questions. Be like, so what did you do to get there? You know? And it's almost like you're convening with your highest self, and you're gonna get it, not necessarily you have to like talk back and forth, but you're gonna get the knowing in your body and your brain of like, okay, this is the next step. These are the decisions she made. And the quicker you can move on those decisions as your highest self, as the one who's done the thing, and you're doing the things you know you have to do, the quicker you'll get there. And this really is the identity work. I discovered identity work right before actually I found the VA industry. I think it was what allowed me to book up my business so quickly and then go and create this amazing training program for other women who want to do the same. And even like I think about the business I built now, right? Like pretty wild results. And it was simply, it almost becomes unemotional then because you just know what your next steps are. For me, when I started, even when I was a brand new VA, I had my 30K months as the North Star, as the anchor. And so I knew when I went into all of this that I was like, I can't think like, you know, I had just booked one or two VA clients. I was like, okay, leverage, scalability, team. And it was just unemotional decisions. And I also knew, you know, for me, it was like investing, learning skills, working with people who had done what I want to do. And it really was just, yeah, like it was unemotional from that regard because it was my identity. I had chosen a larger identity. So that's one thing for you, I think, is just getting clarity on what you want to do and, you know, unemotionally then making decisions from that place. Now, let's talk about the husband thing because I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how much I relate. And I know a lot of us in the chat relate too. But so what I would say here, I actually learned this hack in my career prior to children. I did recruiting and then I also did fundraising and development. And in the fundraising and development side, one of the key things is the saying there was if you ask for money, you are going to get advice. If you ask for advice, you are going to get money. And that was in the lens of fundraising, obviously. But I have that landed with me so deeply, and I have applied that a zoomed out context to every area of my life. And all of you guys who are listening, I'm like, welcome to the greatest life hack that you will ever receive. So good. Are you guys ready? So let's talk about in the context of husbands. The saying here then is if you ask for permission, you are going to get a yes or no answer. If you ask for support, you are going to get collaboration and partnership. And so I love to, when I do involve my husband in decisions, I also just move. But when I do, it's like those big decisions, right? Like we are starting to build on a new house next month, which is crazy. Like obviously that's a very, big thing that we're doing together. And the way, or even, work trips, for example, where we have to coordinate childcare. I let him know what I'm doing or what I would like to do. And then I say, hey, how can we, I need to plug in my computer. Well, let me do that so we don't die. So I asked him, one second, I'm just plugging my computer. Okay, we are in action. So I would say, let's say in the context of like a trip, for example, or even, say I would like to invest in the VA Leadership Academy, like just hypothetical. And again, I do not want this conversation to be at all about you have to do this, but hypothetically, you can approach your husband and say, I would like to invest in the VA Leadership Academy. It is very important to me. I know that it is the next step that is going to help me build my business, book it out, earn the income goals that I want. How can we make this happen together? And so that way, instead of you asking for a yes or no answer where he's going to be like, no way. He's like, okay, well, this is really important to you. Let's talk about it. How can we make this work? And then the thing is, if he says no, you still, okay, how do I say this? This is the words from another mentor, because I've had these conversations. Your husband is not your daddy. So you don't have to ask, it doesn't have to be a yes or no thing. Like you are still your own autonomous human being. You can still make decisions for you. And if something is important to you, my gosh, like go get it, girl. And so yes, take that for what it means to you, but just know that like, no one can tell you yes or no but yourself. And so you get to decide what's important to you and then invite in that collaboration and working together instead of asking for permission would be the biggest thing. And shoot, I mean, gosh, I remember when I was getting started and I was figuring it out, I was willing to wait tables on a Friday night to do what I knew I needed to do. I worked a lot in the beginning of my business. I worked for a recruiting firm. I worked about 6 to 7 hours a day as a VA. I had 8 one-to-one clients in the first iteration of the VA Leadership Academy, and I was building out the curriculum simultaneously, and my kids were home. Like, it was crazy. I don't know. I think God gave me like 48 hours in a day, but I knew that I was just like, I'm gonna figure this out. I don't even care. Like, of course there's a front end effort to build something. When we think about physics and inertia, right? Like there's a bigger push to get the momentum, and then the wheel starts rolling and it doesn't take quite as much. And so, it's like maybe it's just approaching it from a different angle. I hope that lands. I hope some of that is helpful. Okay, let me go through the chat again. And you guys drop in any questions. Like this truly is just a fun convo and hangout that we get to have. Elena, yes, this will stay up. Absolutely, Elena. This will be a replay. I might even put it on the podcast. We'll see. Okay, Leslie, yeah, yeah, yep, Leslie, for sure. Oh, I love that. I'm so happy you're part of the Vala fam. Leslie says it's so worth joining. Okay. Stacey, I'm so glad that makes sense. And if there's anything else too, Stacey, put it in the chat. Like I got you. I got you. Victoria, that gives me the goosebumps. Victoria says that was what I did. You asked you asked for permission to do it. He said yes, and now he gets to see that it is going to pay off. Yes. Oh my gosh. And especially, oh, I'm so excited, you guys. Victoria is a savage queen. Victoria, we should also do a live in here because I think you are just such a beautiful example of going for it, showing up, doing the work. Then of course you book the clients, and now you have an even bigger context. So let's do it live in Momex VA as well. Yes. Okay. Oh, thank you, Stacey. I love the pink sofa too. Yes. And this is fun too. Like, on that note, Now, so I started my business working at the kitchen table, and it was like a hard wooden chair. Like my booty was sore after after a day of work, but it was just what we had. We live in a very small house, make do with what we have, and a year in, I bought my own office chair and I set up a little desk in the kids' playroom. And so that was all of the second year. I was in the kids' playroom. I finally had an office chair that had cushions, like it was cushioned. And year three now, I have rented an office space in town. Voila. And I'm here 3 days a week when my kids are in school. My youngest is 4, and so she does an in-home daycare locally here 3 days a week. But it didn't start out that way, and eventually I'm going to have my own office space at home. But it's just it's a magical evolution to go for it and see how it unfolds and know that like you will look back on you going for it and the wild and crazy things you did to make it happen. You're gonna be so damn proud of yourself. So proud. Like life, like you get to see what you're made of in life, and the way that you do that, right, is by going for it and getting messy and getting in the ring. And gosh, I mean, we could have a conversation about like how many things, I'm sure, but I mean, put it in the chat. I think all of us, we probably have this commonality. We've all invested in things that haven't been what we thought they were. Um, I invested a lot of money my first 6 months. It was prior to finding the VA industry, like thousands and thousands, a lot of money. Um, and in 6 months, I had earned $132, not per month, but total. And it was really this like, oh crap, oh crap. But I still had that North Star. I was like, I know I am meant to build a 30K plus month business. Like, and it was such a deep knowing in my body that I couldn't give it up. I was like, I will figure out a way. I'm gonna go wait tables. I'm applying to full-time jobs. Like, I'll go work for a recruiting firm in town. Like, I'll figure it out. I'll do whatever I need to do. And it was in that moment. Ooh, this is a good one too. So it was in that moment of like, honestly, I felt like I was kind of in a pit. I I felt like I knew where I was going and I wasn't gonna give that up. But I was like, dang, I feel like I've put in so much work. I've come so far to like be here. What the heck? And here's the magic: is sometimes it takes going to the depths to find to inspire that creativity and resourcefulness that leads you to that next thing. And I've heard Alex Hormozy and Sarah Blakely. Sarah Blakely is like my girl crush, the founder of Spanx. She's just amazing. And so I've heard her speak on this, and I've heard Alex Hormozy speak on this. But sometimes it is that like the desire for change because something doesn't feel good. That is like the motivator, the pressure cooker, if you will, that leads you to that next thing. And so if you're feeling that right now, let it fuel you, not fear you. Like let it be your fire and your momentum. And you're like, I don't even care. Whatever it takes, I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna go make it happen. Like, get hungry, get mad, but in an empowering way. You're just like, I'm all in, baby. I'm gonna go figure it out. And yeah, it was then that I found the VA industry and everything, you know, like unfolded in the most magical way. But I would not have found the VA industry if I hadn't just gone for it, gotten messy, gotten in the ring, kind of got myself to that spot where I was like, crap, like I gotta go figure something out. I was looking on Indeed for full-time freaking jobs, and I found a post from a life coach in California for 15 hours a week doing, admin, community management, client management, like all of that stuff. I was like, I can do this, and where do I find more jobs like this? And it led me to the VA industry. And so trust and know that all of the moves that you have made thus far, the investments that maybe haven't worked, walls that you've bumped up against, that all of it is compounding, and you are going to look back. You're going to look back a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, say, thank freaking goodness. Thank freaking goodness I went for it. And also all of those things that felt like failures or felt like challenge at the time, they all led me here. And I did it and I made it. And I'm still growing and evolving. Oh my gosh. Okay, amazing, Victoria. I can't wait to do a live together in here. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. Yes. Well, what else, you guys? Any other questions, considerations? We haven't even really talked about the VA Leadership Academy. I don't even feel like we have to. I feel like if you know, you know. It's an amazing place to be. We have the best people in the world. There's several of them on this chat right now. The training program, you get the step by step, you get the daily job leads. We put 10 in there every day. Um, I have an agency where I get to pair you with clients. We've put 3 agency roles in the last week. I'm working today actually to fill the third one. 2 of them have been filled with VA Leadership Academy students. Yeah, it's I love it. It's the best place. If you know, you know. If you feel like you should be in, you should be in. And I think that's enough. Oh, great. Okay, Stacy, concerned about saturation. Social media feeds are flooded with people offering VA instruction. Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of people out there doing that. There's a lot of VAs out there. And what I would say, there's 2 sides to this, right? So let's talk first about, VA instruction. There's a lot of different places you can go. And what I would really encourage you to do is, of course, look for not just the leader being successful, but also the students. Are there students producing results, booking out their businesses, working with dream clients, all of that? That's a huge one. And I think it also comes back to the whole theme of this conversation too, of just self-trust and discernment. And I think you probably know too, like if you know, you feel this pull in this direction. And the biggest invitation for you really is self-trust. Like you'll know where you're pulled and where it feels right. And also know, I think this is really important too, is that there's no wrong decision. Absolutely never, ever. Anything you decide is never wrong. It's always feedback and, learning and growth for the next time. And so I think that too can be this delicious invitation of whatever you decide, whatever your next step is, it's the perfect one for you. It's all in perfect timing. And then let's talk about saturation as far as the VA industry too, because certainly I'm sure, especially like the lovely algorithm, right? Like if you're talking about something or looking for something, suddenly it's like they're all there. You're like, whoa, is this the only thing that exists now? So notice that some of that is the algorithm, right? Just delivering you what's on your mind and what you've been speaking about and looking for. But this is actually something that we do in the academy and that I'm really passionate about. And that is because, okay, kind of going back to, how I'd shared, like I've always had this big context for my business and big vision and big goals. And what I see happen a lot with virtual assistants is, they'll go book a couple clients and earn maybe 2K a month, which is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like, don't get me wrong there. But they'll call it good. And that's, I think that's what a lot of VAs are taught is like, let's go book some clients and you're good. But here's the thing that I'm really passionate and fired up about because I'm a mom of 3, my kids are young, like our schedule is unpredictable. And so I'm really passionate about creating real, true, scalable business where you are not chained to one-to-one client work. You can build systems, team, leverage into your business where you get to be the leader, you get to be the CEO, and it's not, it doesn't have to happen overnight, right? But that's your North Star of where you're building to. And so inside of the academy, we work a lot on positioning. We do some identity work, but we have a whole thing on how to create passive income for VAs. Did you know that you can earn passive income as a VA? And then I love like sales systems and all of that too. So the strategy that I teach is how to essentially bake in a sales funnel and an upgrade strategy that happens effortlessly. So you are earning passive income as a VA, but you also have people landing on your calendar who want to hire you for your higher ticket services. And there's all, lead generation strategies, sales funnels, all of it. Like I nerd out on that stuff. And so I love to obviously pass it on inside of the academy. So that's what I would say too is, if you're worried about saturation, one of the ways that you can get around that is by really dialing in your authority and your positioning. And what I'll say too, because right, this is a common, consideration when you're newer, you're just starting out. It's like, what do I have to bring to the table? And, go watch all the trainings in here because I talk a lot about it. But basically, your unique positioning comes from your professional background, your work experience, even stuff you've done as a mom. And positioning is a lot of semantics. It's the words you use to convey the experience that you bring to the table. And when you have positioned yourself well, you don't have competition. You're in a category of one. And then we get to build out all of those, the messaging, frameworks, offers, passive income, sales funnel, like all of that stuff around that. And so really, you never have to worry about saturation when you know how to position yourself well and you have built not just like a business where you can go book a one-off client, but like a real true business where you have income coming in various different offers. You've got the full offer suite, all of that. Okay, I'm starting to nerd out. But anyways, that is the gist there. Yes. Okay. What else, you guys? Any other questions? I have a couple minutes. I'm trying to remember. Let me look at my calendar really quickly. Oh, so in about 20 minutes, I actually have an interview with for the agency client role. So that's exciting. One of our Vala queens is going to get paired up. But yeah, so I have some time if anyone else has any questions. Carrie Ann, it's so good to see you in here. I adore you. Okay, we can talk about Carrie Ann. She has the most savage background, professional background, and it's so fun to see her like really claim and own that and position herself as she's a high-level OBM, an operator and integrator for Christian coaches and entrepreneurs. So good. But do you see too, you guys, actually, that's a great example. Like how I described Carrie Ann is how you position yourself instead of saying, I'm a virtual assistant. It's like, this is who you are. And then, and when you can speak with that specificity too, your clients are like, oh, yeah, I need you. That's exactly what I need. Okay. Well, you know where to find me. I hope you have enjoyed this. This has been so much fun. We should just do this more often, like unstructured kind of hangouts. You guys tell me what you need, what you want riffs on, all of it. I love this. Okay. Mwah. So much love. All of you guys just reach out. If you're considering, you have questions, whatnot, I'm always here for you. So is my team. And so are all the amazing women in Vala. It really is like the people, the best family in the world. All right. So much love. Bye, everybody.